This year, we planted seeds, literally and figuratively. Before we ever even touched the soil, we spent weeks building the groundwork, from meetings to planning, aligning schedules, and just learning how to move as a collective, rooted in love, legacy, and land. We drafted MOUs, we've created shared systems, and built a media and consent process that protected our people and honored our stories. Residents didn't just participate in Soil to Souls, but they also led Soil to Souls. Together, we shaped the interview questions, and then residents also conducted interviews themselves and helped us gather stories that reflected the true brilliance of South Memphis. We interviewed over 15 families, grounding our work in the cookbook and the documentary stories around love, legacy, and land. As we grew over 2025, we began to gather more and more around the table, eventually establishing the Soul Table Dinner Series. It allowed us to showcase what can happen when community comes together over food, not only to build powers, but to create plans, and also to deepen our roots in our community, one table at a time. We even got a chance to activate our meeting space at the four-way in multiple areas in multiple ways, transforming it into a hub for visioning, coordinating healing, and bridging neighborhoods together. And after building our foundation, we actually planted a garden in the spring and the fall, hoping to nurture ourselves through food and trust and community all at the same time. This year, we also were able to establish very succinct and clear roles around how we bring Soil to Souls to life, whether that was media and promotions on a team together, or establishing a community archivist and research consultants that are rooted in our history and connected to our community in multiple different ways. So we're building the systems that our people want and deserve. And we're asking folks all across the city one specific question that's been guiding us in our work. What's your recipe for a healthy community? And in 2026, you guys, we plan to rise even higher. We're hoping to premiere the documentary of the Soil to Souls cookbook creation and to begin galvanizing the energy around the final product of the cookbook. We're hoping to also build stronger resident networks and eventually really delve deeper into what we call food sovereignty in the work that we are trying to establish, where there's involving more healing of our land and our bodies and our joy. This year in 2025, we spent our time planting our seeds. And next year, going into 2026, we're hoping for a beautiful and bountiful harvest. We know right now this is just the beginning for Soil to Souls. Hey y'all, my name is Joelle Thompson. I'm the connector for South Memphis at CTC, specifically in the Alcee Ball and Soulsville neighborhoods. But I'm a native Memphian, native South Memphian, do or die, that's my whole heart. Justin and I met like a year ago. We actually went to the same college and we were on an alumni call, and the next day he was like, oh, you would be perfect for this job. So I got my master's in public health at University of Memphis and was always looking for a job that would give me the opportunity to do public health in a unique and I would say like non-traditional way, because I am one of the part owners of the Four-Way restaurant as well with my family. And so CTC has offered me the opportunity to do the things I love and also intertwine a lot of my other life, I guess, experiences in the best way to impact my community as well through public health. So in South Memphis, we are convening, actually we're here right now at an event, convening and talking about food. A lot of the work is around storytelling and narrative, but also how we use that storytelling and narrative shift into action so that we can heal not only our land, but heal our bodies through wellness, gardening, and mutual aid. And we ultimately want to be able to build and create a system that's led by and for residents that ultimately establish some level of like co-op or shared system where we own our own food, we own our own food processing, and we are able to sell our food, but also own our own land and really be able to like cultivate the change and the growth that we want to see in our community through our own hands, whether that's just by coming together over a table of food to talk about what we need to plan and organize to get there, or even that's just meeting and start planning in the garden together and learning what it takes to plant, grow, and harvest food in our community. But also learning from the elders, learning from the fact that even though we're a food as a community that doesn't have any grocery stores in our immediate area, there are people who are taking their natural abilities and their resilience and their legacy of their families and the knowledge that we have just as people and growing right here in our community. So we're already shifting the narrative, but we want to shine a light on like really what our people in Memphis, South Memphis specifically, have to offer to the city's culture and our landscape of food and food access. So for me, history and food in Memphis, for me, starts with the People's Grocery incident in the 1880s. And it was one of the first incidents that Ida B. Wells captured in her writing that she published and used in her journalism to advocate against lynching in America and telling the true story of black people in America through Memphis and through black folks wanting to start a co-op that fed their community. And that story is always important to me because it also is locationally important. I grew up with my family owning the Four-Way restaurant, and so as a little kid, I was 3 or 4 years old, coming to this business, not really understanding the gravity of like how big of a place this was. But in 1946, the restaurant was founded as a cornerstone, not just for black people, but for all people in Memphis. It was one of the only integrated spaces in Memphis, and it was right here in South Memphis. But the People's Grocery incident actually happened right across the street from where this restaurant was established. And there was probably like a 50-year difference between them, but it goes to show the resilience of what our community members want to always bring to this community. So the building that the Four Ways actually was established in, there was a barbershop, shoe shop, and a pool hall. It was multiple businesses. There was a bookstore, there was a beauty shop. And so with all of these businesses in one place, this corner served as a corridor for liveliness, for access, for business, for economic growth and success, whether that was music or food. We came together really through soul, whether it was soul music, soul food, and in Soulsville. And so being in the heart of South Memphis in Soulsville, and my experience of growing up in communities like Castelia, Magnolia, or Alcee Ball, this is where a lot of folks' roots are, right here in Soulsville. Whether they moved to Whitehaven, Westwood, even maybe to North Memphis, the roots of a lot of black people who grew food, who ran their own businesses, who fed their community in their own small mom and pop shop restaurants, it starts right here in Soulsville. And so when it comes to food and culture, it really means, like, I guess what the phrase soul to souls, where we came from, is about our souls, because it's the origin. Food is the origin of everything, and so that's the origin of our souls, our love, our care, and our legacy for our community. And so I think that just as black people and as Memphians, soul food just is the end all be all of like what it means to kind of capture, like, you know, what food is for the black community, because it's diverse. Soul food is not just one dish or one thing. It's a diverse range of things. You can have soul food different in Louisiana than it is in Mississippi, than it is in Memphis, than it is in, you know, in Alabama. And I think that that just goes to show how creative we are with being able to, like, you know, make the most out of something, you know, most out of something that was considered nothing to others. And that's what South Memphis has been doing historically for just generations, whether it was the People's Grocery or even the Four-Way Grill. A lot of folks around here have always been used to making something out of nothing, and that started with growing food as well. So I think that's what it means to South Memphis and to Memphis in general. So right now we are doing a lot of organizing around narrative and storytelling, trying to open folks' minds back up to what it means to grow food, or even realizing that what the history of growing food even, you know, originated from. And so we meet over dinner, because a lot of times everybody may not have a good home-cooked meal. We try to provide home-cooked meals whenever we meet and organize, but in doing that, we're creating a community cookbook. And so the cookbook is a collection of recipes, but also a collection of stories, whether that's familial or communal stories. And within that, I guess a research paper that's supported by my own research and lived experiences of other South Memphians. And we're doing that to publish not only our histories and tell it, you know, for us and by us, but also begin to shift the narrative, to use that as a tool to continue to drive us to build and create things as a community, whether those are co-ops, whether those are worker-owned businesses, whether it, you know, whatever type of economy it creates. It's a system of mutual aid and shared benefit, and it's all about community togetherness. And so we organize through our meetings, through our projects, through film, through art, through food, and ultimately through storytelling. And as we share stories, we hope to, build more practices, more rituals, more connection. And just in 1 year, we've already started to, make so many waves within our community. It's just really growing our base and, getting other folks involved in the conversations. And so we utilize cornerstones within our community to meet, like the Four-Way restaurant, or even just meeting with folks at, like, going to other places like Rogers Corner Store in Alcee Ball, or going to Black Seeds Urban Farm. Even though it's in Uptown, they are native South Memphians, and they are part of that community. And so making sure that we partner also with people who have already been doing the work to continue to amplify the amount of power that we are able to have to really impact the community is also another way in which we try to organize around food injustice. Food justice looks like, food sovereignty, and food sovereignty is independence. Us being confident and able enough to grow, sell, eat, consume, and produce our own food within our own neighborhoods and our own communities, and not be self-reliant on a corporation or a company that may not come to save us. And for me, I think that also is a narrative that we aren't a food desert. We're actually very, abundant and rich in the food that we're able to grow and cultivate, in the community that we're able to, cultivate from that. But I really just hope to see that we're making stuff that's by us and for us. And why should you donate to Soil to Souls? Well, because one, we are a team of South Memphians, so I'm not by myself. I'm doing Soil to Souls with they are my friends. We become friends even more since we've been doing this work, but they are also South Memphis artists. So I have a videographer, creative producer, and also two young videographers and cinematographers that are from my neighborhood that are basically giving their all to be able to do something for their community that's good and that's positive, and use their art as a gift. And so for them to be able to give when I'm not able to provide for them anything is way beyond what I could ask for from anyone. And so if you ever think about what you can do for me, is what you can do for them. What you can do for the residents I work with, what you can do for my resident leaders like Brandon and Dame and Winton, and how we can continue to uplift artists, uplift public health professionals and creatives, and just young organizers, and being able to put them in a position to platform themselves and grow their network as well. And so your investment into Soil to Souls is an investment into them and their time that they put into all of this work. Some of you seen tonight or today or over this week, and a lot you will see in the future. And so we really just thank everybody for their support. As much as you can give, it's for not just me, but it's for our community as well.